Hey everyone, how's it going today? Today I'll be showing you how to replace all the filters as well as the oil on your Maserati Ghibli, as well as reset your service light. I first was going to start off with the easy thing. I picked these up off of Amazon. I'll show you the link in the description. So have the cabin filter and then the two air filters. I'm going to go ahead and pop the hood and we'll get started. So in looking at the engine bay here, you'll see a clip here, here, then in the back there's one right down there. As well as whenever you remove this, you'll have to undo this right here. You'll push these two tabs in, this should pop out. Same on this side, you have 1, 2, 3. The easy thing to do is just to put a flathead screwdriver that has, I guess, a long neck on it. Go ahead and pop these out. Now I have the covers popped off. All you do is just grab on, pull up your air filter. Be careful in taking it out. These don't look too bad, but one of my concerns was that they were on the car originally when I bought it used. So I'd like to just go ahead and put all new fresh stuff in here. This also gives you a perfect time to be able to clean out any leaves and dirt you may have in here. So here's the difference between the old and the new. The new looks a whole lot better. Now these, I don't know if they are actually Maserati specific, but has the same part number on here. I think these are just a high quality replica for it. Otherwise they look exactly the same. We can go ahead and insert the new ones now. Now I'm actually doing the filters and the oil change on a separate day just because a oil filter I was waiting for did not come in on time. So whenever you're putting these back, you'll put these little tabs right inside this plastic piece here. That way it fits, and you want to make sure that it seats correctly as well, because it can clip in without being seated correctly. So that's something to pay attention to as well. For example, what I talked about the oil changes, if you're doing the oil change too, you would go ahead and leave this one off for now. So moving on to the cabin air filter, you'll see two tabs. You'll just pull up on both of these, try to get it here. This piece will come out. And if you see right here, this little black piece, if you pull on it, it pops up this way. I think I may need two hands to do that. So once you have that lifted up, you can just grab your old filter here, slide it out. Now it doesn't look too bad here compared to the other one, but like I said before, just looking to replace everything to get it all with new fresh parts. So once you have the filter popped in, basically just put this cover back on, press down until it snaps on each side. Take your cover here, align these tabs up with the top, and then press it down and secure it. It's that easy. So now I'm going to move on to the oil change. It'll be a new day for me, but will just be a few seconds for you. Alright, so I'm now moving on to the oil change. This is the oil I got here, 5W40 full synthetic platinum euro with the Ferrari logo. This is the oil filter I have, the actual gasket, the part number here. Oh. Then you'll need a 10 hex. Your wrench here, you got a 27 as well as a 10 extension, T30 Torx, then a long flathead. So your first step here is to actually remove the filter box on this side, and just use the flathead and just kind of pry. Pops right off. Then you have a third back here. Then you'll undo this clip here, push these two tabs in, and remove this top part. Now you have your top removed, you can pull the air filter clean everything underneath, and then I usually will just put a towel here. If you look right here, that's actually where your oil filter is going to be. Now I'm going to work on taking off the under tray. Now that I'm under the car, you'll see 1, 2, 3, 4 T30 Torx bolts. I'm going to go ahead and remove those first. Now I'll be removing the 8 10mm bolts. There's one here, here, then there's 1, 2, and then if you look on the back side there'll be 4. So 8 total. I'm going to go ahead and take care of that. The last part is going to be remove these 4 Allen screws. 1, 2, and then 3, 4. Now that you have your plate out, what you're going to do is come over here, undo your oil cap, set this aside, and go ahead and put some paper towels in here, pull out your filter. Now that you see the drain bolt there, you'll use the size 10 hex to undo it. You may want to try to scoot these out of the way, that way you have you're not dripping oil on it. Now that you have your drain bolt out, you want to make sure to replace the gasket crush washer on it. Now whenever I was actually taking this out, this actually stayed seated where you're actually screwing this in, so I used a flathead to just pop it out. So that's one thing to make sure of. If you don't see a gasket on here, double check and make sure that it is still there seated and pop it out. Another thing I would suggest is looking at picking up some of this. It's called a ram board. This basically just soaks up any type of spilled oil. Definitely saved me this time because there was a lot of oil that came out. Now this oil filter looks a little bit different. You have the bottom here, then you have a screen that goes on it, and then a spring. So what I'm going to do now is just grease up a ring here, here, and here. Oh, I'm sorry, here, here, and then here. Put it back in. So I have the filter installed back in here. Basically you just want to tighten it down until you don't see the green outer ring anymore, and then just give it a little bit more torque just to make sure it's seated. There's no real torque spec. For this drain bolt on the bottom, I'm going to torque it to 30. People have done 20, 22, 25. I'm just going to do 30 to make sure. Whenever I broke it loose, it was probably torqued to about 50. So I don't know what was going on with that, but I'm just going to torque it back, make sure it's seated really well. Now I have the drain bolt torqued back to 30 pounds. I'm going to go ahead and put the tray back, lower the car back down, and start adding oil. Before you add oil, you can also see in here, take a look. This engine looks really healthy to me, so I'm going to go ahead and add 8 quarts and then test using the dipstick, then probably add anywhere from 0.3 to 0.8 more. Alright, so now I have 8 quarts added. I have the cap back on. I'm going to go ahead and start the car and then check the oil after it's ran for a minute. So I had started the car, checked the oil, and it was about a 1/4 inch below the first dot, so I'm going to add, I guess maybe just under half a quart more. It should be perfect. So I ended up adding 8.5 quarts of oil to be able to get a just above the middle of the 2 dots. I got the OBD Star X200 Pro, and basically in the box it came with this, the cord that kind of screws into the top, and a card reader, which is right here. I don't really think I'll be using it, but for those that will, it comes with that as well. Besides that, in the box, that's it. So I'm going to go down now and try to reset the service light. So I hope you can see here, but I have 20 days left. It shows a distance of 8,000 miles. So I'm getting the light turning on saying service engine soon, so I'm going to go ahead and try to reset that now. So with the car fully off, plug this in to the OBD2 sensor. It says vehicles, and go ahead and press enter here. It says BPM OBD2 oil service. I'm going to go to the oil service, press enter again, oil service, enter, loading some sort of information. You can see the bar loading there at the bottom. This is my first time actually using this. It's recommended to try this one out, so I'm going to see if it actually works for me. Alright, so it looks like it's to the cars. I'm going to go down to Maserati. There's Maserati. Press enter again. Ghibli. Gasoline. In order to successfully make sure the correct date is set on the dashboard, whatever, communicating, oil reset, reset successful, enter, escape. Alright, so I believe that may have done it. The card kind of flickered whenever I did the oil reset, so let's go ahead and unplug this, make sure there's no interference with it, and I'll cycle the key back on. You have to go to run to be able to see it. And there we go. Successful. And go ahead and close the door so you don't hear that beep. Distance miles, 12,430, days, 365. So I'm all set on this. Call this a success, and super easy. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below. But as always, happy driving and enjoy.